ki jai. Shri Harinama Cintamani ki jai. Alright, so welcome again to our Shri Harinama Cintamani class. We are now, it's been some time, we have not been having class, but we'll continue.
Season 2.
We're almost finished with the book. This is now chapter 11. Chapter 10 was the 7th offense. So now we're on the 8th, offense number 8. So we are still with the conversation of Sri Haridas Thakur and Mahaprabhu. So in this chapter, Haridas Thakur is explaining to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the 8th offense, which is to equate the chanting of the holy name with the Shubha-karmer, those pious activities. So Haridas Thakur, he has mentioned, like same as from the very first chapter, he was glorifying the holy name. He said this name is like Krishna himself, is just like the sun. And it's none different from the form, the qualities, and the pastimes. So this name has come to this world only by mercy of the devotees, actually. The devotees who are pure devotees, when they're chanting, Haridas explained that the holy name descends by the call of the devotees. And they themselves enter into the devotees. And they dance on the tongue of the devotees. And really, if you think about this, when you talk about like the holy name, Krishna himself, Krishna is completely Shuddha Sattva, completely not touched by material, like this material world or material ingredients. Completely, when you say Shuddha Sattva, like pure existence. So when we say we chant the holy name, when we say chant, that means you're doing some action by your tongue. Our tongue is not capable of touching even Krishna. Our tongue is material, like that. So really, who's chanting the name is only the pure devotees, really. And that tongue is not material. It's actually now spiritualized. And on that tongue, Krishna himself is like dancing, like that. So this is like a very advanced stage. Now, in this chapter, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who's relating this book, he's explaining that the jiva, we are supposed to evolve from this our material contaminated or conditioned state to pure Krishna consciousness, right? So for that to evolve, then Krishna has arranged some system. So this has already been explained so many times before. So he has the process of karma, he has the process of gyan, and they're supposedly to kind of give some how do you call this? Placement for according to the jiva's qualification, So some jivas, they're just completely materialistic. So they're fit to do karma. By karma meaning they're engaged in activities which really they are motivated for material results, like that. So now Haridas Thakur, he said it's very important to understand what is Shubha-karmer. Because now when we talk about this offense, and really, especially new devotees, they may think like this also, and we are warned to think like this. That this chanting of Harinam is one of those Shubha-karmer, pious activities, is really an offense, and it can, some devotees can think like that. And actually, Haridas, he said this is actually a result of some offense also to Vaishnavas, that someone can think like this. If some devotees now, they may somehow think okay, my chanting is equal to, like varnashram dharma, or like offering some this like pinda to the demigods or to my forefathers, like that, or to going pilgrimage in the holy places, like that. Then it is said that that particular offense can lead one to become attracted also to the like misconclusions of Mayavadis, and furthermore they just go to hell also. Hell meaning you're totally be not welcome in the realm of bhakti, like that. So we are warned. Now, so what we should understand, what is Shubha-karma? So he's saying that people, they worship God mostly out of fear. Like people are materialistic. They identify with their bodies. And most of the fear is actually fear of death, like that. So if you look, there's so many religions in the world. And why are they worshiping like there's some sort of worship of some supreme person, some good supreme personality. The only like reason for that is because they're afraid, like, my business will collapse, or I will lose my wealth, or I will die. Mostly, like ultimately, that's the worst fear. Like I will die, like that. And so for their protection, then they pray and they do all these different like activities, like they do some austerities, they do some sacrifice or whatever, charity, like this. So these particular activities, which are not selfish, because this is it's like they calculate that I will do this because there's something good in return and materially good for me. These are what you call like Shubha-karma. Even in the name of, it's for God, but it's calculated for like material result. Then it's Shubha-karma. Shubha-karma meaning really that it's contaminated by material desires. So most of the religions and like most we call it mundane religiosity, like this. They're all motivated for something's in return. So he's giving example. Shubha-karma includes like altruistic work. Altruistic work meaning, what is that? Like you do some service for society, for higher like like philanthropic activities, like charity, doing your duties in society, like that, making sure like there's justice, So then like fire sacrifices also. There's charity, some yoga, practice of varnashram dharma, pilgrimages, doing some vratas, offerings to forefathers, meditation, cultivating some like philosophical like knowledge, like this, and like worship of demigods, doing penances. Now, when we say vratas and pilgrimage, we have to understand that if it's done really out of like we know Shuddha Bhakti means anya-subha-karmer sunyam, like completely no selfish desire, completely free from like selfish desires, then, and only for the pleasure of Krishna, of course that's bhakti. But mostly people are doing like this, like they go to holy places and they go some penances. It's only mostly because of they want something for themselves, some protection for themselves, like so some benefit, like even going to heaven, or even liberation, the desire for liberation, that is still like contamination. So Haridas Thakur is saying like even the goal of liberation, like Sayuja Mukti, that is not real happiness. That's only cessation of suffering. For most people, liberation is really like when there's no suffering, that's like, okay, liberation. But just up to that point, that is, you're just free from suffering. But to experience real happiness, that is beyond that. That is when you have like actual relation with Krishna. And like, that's in the realm of bhakti, like that. So, in the stage of Shubha-karma, it's Shubha Shubha means auspicious. It's auspicious because it can lead to something auspicious. And what is that? It can be a stepping stone actually for the jiva, so he can further evolve towards attaining some understanding of bhakti, like that. And this is all Krishna's arrangement. But this is not like the primary process. So compare that with Harinam. Haridas is telling directly that Harinam is the means and at the same time the end. We know this. Our goal is like prem, this pure love for Krishna. And he said, before attaining the goal, then you do some process. So before attaining the goal, that process is Harinam. We're chanting. No, that's right. Before attaining the goal, or before you attain like pure Krishna consciousness, now we engage in this process of chanting Harinam. So it's a means. But when you attain the goal, then you realize that Harinam is Krishna himself. So it's at the same time the goal. Now Shubha-karmer, the goal is what? The goal is different from the means. As a means, Shubha-karmer meaning you're doing charity, you're doing all these pious activities. The goal is what? Like, you become rich, you go to heavenly planets, or you become liberated, right? As soon as you have that, then actually you stop your process. So it's different. The means and the goal is different. And the goal itself is temporary. You go to the heavenly planets, or you become rich. Maybe you become the most famous person, but still you don't experience happiness. And this is the beauty of this process actually that Krishna arranged. That by following Shubha-karmer, you'll realize that my goal is actually very temporary, and you realize that this is not the real goal after you experience, because it is said that the goal after you experience the goal, then you experience actually suffering, because you don't experience satisfaction, and so you suffer, and then you begin to question. So then it gives way to something more auspicious, which is like you want to know more, and really, it said that especially when you associate with the devotees, and that's when then the path to bhakti becomes really like open. And so by this Shubha-karmer, it's auspicious because it can lead to Shuddha Bhakti. But it's secondary. It's a secondary means. And ultimately, the maturity of Shubha-karmer is to realize that, I should stop this process. I should renounce this Shubha-karmer and perform Shuddha Bhakti, like that. So now, when you say this chanting Harinam is one of those Shubha-karmer, this is like an offense to the holy name, because now you're equating the holy name to be like this, like as a secondary means. And by thinking like that, you become so far away from bhakti. That is why it is said that for the devotees, or for practitioners of this like Harinam, it's very important to understand like how we progress. So our Guru Varga is giving us so much guidance. Like Rupa Goswami he's our Abhidaya Acharya, so he's told us the stages like that. So here in this Harinama Cintamani, also Haridas Thakur, he's saying, okay, from Shraddha, he said, really, Shraddha is the only qualification for Harinam. The last offense was to instruct someone who has no Shraddha, right? Just a quick review. This is different from when you go Harinam Sankirtan and telling people about the holy name. That is not that kind of offense. Giving Harinam to faithless people. This offense, the number 7 offense, which is giving...
Is that like giving Harinam initiation?
Yeah, like to instruct someone about the holy name to someone who has no Shraddha, like that. Because it's like monkeys or pigs, you give them some some gems or like very fine cloth, then they'll just trample it, or like they just break it like this, and they just commit offense to that. And so the giver, meaning only actually like initiating gurus, they can commit this offense like this.
They can.
Only them. No.
Mahaprabhu told Nityananda and Haridas, go house to house.
Yes, that's different.
They're instructing them to do that.
Yes, they're instructing them, but first, this is also explained. Before they give, first they have to establish or teach people how to have shraddha. So like when we go around, like going Sankirtan and going preaching, what we're doing actually is to make people have shraddha to Harinam first. Then after that, to those who have shraddha, then the guru, then he gives Harinam, like that. So Haridas Thakur, he directly warns that if someone gives Harinam to someone who's not qualified, like someone says, oh, this is a very rich person, it'd be good to have him as a disciple. He's not following regulated principles, he doesn't know anything, he has no faith. So it's like, oh, come, and you're telling them, chant this, giving instructions, Harinam. He will not do that, and he will just use the name to commit sinful activities or whatever. Then he himself, engaged in namaparadha. So Haridas says that so-called guru, even if he's already advanced, he can actually fall down because of this offense, and he can become a materialist also. So we are warned like this. So now, why did I mention that? Because now in this 8th offense, when you consider we consider this Harinam as anya-subha-karmer. The devotee, Haridas, he says that first the devotee has to have faith, right? From that faith, then he has to associate with devotees, and his faith becomes more fixed. And from association with devotees, then he starts to engage in service. So he engaged in bhajan. Actually, it's a simplified way actually of explaining what Rupa Goswami has mentioned. Same thing as in Madhurya Kadambini also, our Vishnu Thakur. Because they actually say, okay, from Shraddha, then Sadhusanga, right? The Sadhusanga actually attains maturity, or you have complete Sadhusanga really when you have Diksha. When you surrender to a guru, that is actually like the maturity of your Sadhusanga. And by that, then bhajan can begin. So then bhajan kriya. So then when bhajan begins, then anarthas are all like going away. So unless anarthas are gone, then you can never chant Shuddhanam like this. So the lesser the anarthas, then this nam becomes more prominent and become more clear, become part of your life like that. So then nishta will come. The shraddha will have to become nishta. By sadhusanga, bhajan kriya, anartha nivritti, the shraddha will become complete shraddha, and that's nishta. When nishta comes, you're completely free from your material environment. Material environment cannot touch you anymore like this. So in a way, by nishta, you're like in a liberated stage. But there's no ruchi yet, no taste. But very soon, then ruchi will come. So at ruchi, then now you begin to taste the holy name. Now it's becoming more sweet. You become attached to the chanting of the name. Then very soon, not just the chanting of the name, but to Krishna himself. Do you understand that this name is not different from Krishna? That's asakti. And then bhav will come. At the stage of bhav, that is when you begin to realize your eternal relation with Krishna. Like that. So, very quickly, Haridas was telling like this. So he said that this is the beauty of this chanting name. Before you reach the perfection of this process, meaning you attain pure Krishna consciousness and you attain prem, then it's just a means. It's just a process for you. But then when you attain prem, then the name itself is now your goal. So it's the same, the means and the goal, like that. And now this kind of offense will totally, if you think like this, it's like being namaparadha, completely will block your your progress, like that. So we are warned never to think like this. And it said, so what to do if we have committed this offense? So Haridas, he gave some solution. He said, oh, you should extinguish all this materialistic conception first to the devotees. Now you have materialistic conception of name, right? You think the name is like a material. So now you have to also remove all this materialistic conception of the devotees. So he said, best you approach someone who is considered like from a low caste, a devotee who is an actual devotee who is so attached to holy name, but he's considered like from a low caste, like that, like a householder even, like not a sannyasi. Like sometimes it's so easy to just go to someone who's like, oh, he's a high class Brahmin and a sannyasi and like a devotee, but okay, you have to go to like someone who's like considered like low caste but an actual devotee. And he gave an example of Kalidas. I think Kalidas, like he goes to see like some really like serious like householder devotees and wait for them to finish like taking prasad, and then when they throw away the prasad like remnants, and he goes in the garbage and take away the peels, the mango peels or the mango seeds like that, and eat that like that. So Haridas said like the only way to become completely removed from all this material conception of name and to the devotees, you do like this. You go to an actual devotee and take his remnants, take his foot dust like this, and wash his feet and drink his charanamrita like that. And he said like very soon then
Param also showed this in his past day.
who? Param Gurudev. Yeah, from like before his appearance, like this, or when he just like yeah. So like this, and it's very interesting. The chapter ends with Haridas Thakur praying to Mahaprabhu. Now we have to understand, this is the mood of the devotee. When they experience prem, automatically they're very humble. So at the end, actually, Haridas prays to Mahaprabhu that please, like, give me this attraction to the name. He's chanting 3 lakhs Harinam, his whole life is Harinam, but then he's praying to Mahaprabhu like this. And we should not consider also like, oh, he's doing drama like that. It's really like, this is an external, like a symptom of his prem. Like that when you have prem, you completely feel so humble and like this Trinada Pious Sunicina. So you feel like I have no love. And now he's with Mahaprabhu, who is the giver or the distributor of this Prem Nam Sankirtan, like that. As Namacharya also, he's giving the example, like that. So like for us, he's giving an example. Like we should pray. We pray to Mahaprabhu, especially in our stage now. Oh, like we're so attached to this material, like material way of life or material things and forms like this, and so difficult to chant Shuddhanam or so many anarthas like that. So not only we pray to be free from this offense, but really we pray to Mahaprabhu that this attraction to the name will come like that. Okay, so that is in essence this 11th chapter. That's the 8th offense. Next meeting we'll talk about the 9th offense. So there's only 15 chapters. So now we're in the 12. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 4 more chapters and we finish the book. Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Harinama Cintamani ki jai, Go Premanandi.